Larry met with Noe, a person he knew for maybe 2 or 3 months. And until Noe was calm, until Noe felt comfortable, Larry did not get up from that seat. Larry made Noe sit there until he was relaxed. And I'll bet you, I'd be willing to bet anything, that there are more than 50 people in this room who have called Larry for that exact same kind of thing. Larry, I need some help. You're the only, I just need to call you. And my question when I thought about this was, because I have to tell you, I've given a lot of Gala speeches. I've never given a Gala speech where I felt like I had an imperative to share with everyone in the room just how incredible the honorees are. I've always wanted to share that. There are partnerships with incredible leaders, but I've never had a partnership as deep as I've had with Larry and Andre, and I want to share that with you. And so I wondered, what is it about Larry that makes people call him? What is it about some leaders that demand, they're magnets for our support? We reach out to them. Simon Sinek, a management theorist, said the following, and I think this is the insight. Management and leaders are people who make others feel secure. They're the people who draw others into their circle of trust. And listen to what Sinek says, because I can't think of a more appropriate paragraph to describe Larry. Leaders are the ones who are willing to look out for those to the left of them and those to the right of them. They are often willing to sacrifice their own comfort for ours, even when they disagree with us. Leaders are the ones who are willing to give up something of their own for us. Their time, their energy, their money, maybe even the food off their plate. When it matters, Sinek says, leaders choose to eat last. In 5 years that I've known Larry, and that includes literally countless disagreements, and that's a generous term for sometimes how Larry and I argue, he has always put the school first. Always. Whether it's his kids, and that may not be the most wise parenting move, but he always puts the school first. He's never asked for special treatment other than parking at the basketball tournament and tonight. But aside from that, Larry's never asked for that. He always eschews the spotlight in favor of spending time and energy to support us behind the scenes. Every single one of us, faculty, staff, your friends, Larry, feel this way. And in response, we offer our blood, sweat, and tears to you because you mean that much to us. That's Larry. Despite being super busy with her work and taking care of her family, I and so many others know that we can still count on Andrea to help us out. Even after weeks crisscrossing the globe, I really haven't met somebody who has this kind of work schedule. We feel like we can reach out to Andrea for advice or support no matter what, no matter how exhausted she is. I don't even think twice anymore. Larry already told me, yeah, Andrea's going to Hong Kong and she's coming back. Okay, but I need something. I'll call Andrea. She coaches people to be their own best selves, even being, and this is the hardest thing, completely brutally honest when necessary. Just listen to Noam Weissman. Andrea is hardly just the first lady of Shaw Heaven. She is always available, no matter how busy she is. She has given me tons of feedback, like a lot. But done so in a way where I can totally trust her and grow from her coaching. Her candor and transparency and her willingness to challenge me as a person and leader have been so gratifying. But what is it about her? What is it about Andrea? How is she different that people are drawn to her and that she encourages them to grow? I believe it's trust. It's the belief that Andrea, in a different way than most people we know, wants the best for us. She has her own best interests at heart. And that's exactly why Andrea is so successful at supporting others. It's clear that her goal is to raise us up, to be the best version of ourselves, not raising herself up. And while we often think of leaders leading from the front, Andrea leads from the back. In the words of Rabbi Jonathan Sachs, good leaders create followers. Great leaders, Andrea, create leaders. This is Andrea. Aviva Wall summed it up best when she wrote me, Larry and Andrea are the epitome of generosity. They are always there as friends, with advice, a word of kindness, and a perfectly mixed drink. When Aviva's talking about generosity, I want you to hear this for a second. She's not talking about money. Although I've gotten up at Gala's, I don't think I've ever met a couple that has given more of their resources to an institution, financially, than Shalhevet. But that's not what we're talking about tonight. She's not even talking about, at another level, giving of themselves, their passion, their dedication, their time, their talent. Aviva's not saying that. She's talking about their day-to-day giving that makes them beloved. Not beloved in the trite sense. Beloved, it sounds simple, it sounds like a throwaway, it's actually incredibly profound. Andrea and Larry were day-to-day giving. The calls, the texts, the checking in, the dropping by when you know someone needs a little bit of a hand. That day-to-day giving, that's the generosity that Aviva's speaking about, and all of us feel in this room. So I just caught Andrea's eye a little bit for a second. She asked me to swear, which I did, that I wasn't going to talk about them. So I'll shorten it a little bit. I'll share one more quote from Rav Yosef, because I think that's beautiful. Rav Yosef Kanevsky, the Gill's rabbi, who they would walk through fire for, said the following: "They are the most unassuming and genuine people you will ever meet. People whose greatest joy comes from two sources: their children and being able to work for the greater good of our community." I think everybody in this room just saw this. They have incredible children. Each of their boys is a unique force, like Micah's charisma, like Jonah's intellect, divergent thinker, and then Talia has both of them combined, and all that bad stuff goes away. Like, it's not good. Talia seems to have inherited all the good stuff. And I'm serious. If it wouldn't, I could go on and on about them. But I know the greatest and truest way to honor the two of them tonight and to celebrate them is to highlight very briefly what the school has become under their leadership. Tonight we're here to celebrate the ways in which they have helped take the school to extraordinary heights. While obviously, and it's amazing when I come here, I was up on the roof and I'm meeting, I'm not just naming, I saw the Tavex and I started to think, oh my gosh, they were here and they were working, and I saw, I'm talking to them and thinking, wow, they were here from so long ago and they're back and they're supporting the school. There are, I can name 20 people in this room, 50 people in this room, who were there from the beginning and were instrumental in the growth of the school. But Larry and Andrea were truly at the center of this over the last 10 years. Under Larry's leadership, we balanced our budget, we fixed the balance sheet, and we built a $4 million endowment so that this enterprise, which is so incredible, can begin to be insured for the long-term future. And that's a gentle plug. If you want to support it so we can for sure be insured for the long-term future, I'm happy to talk to anybody in my office immediately after this speech. As you know, and this is under Larry and Andrea's leadership, enrollment has skyrocketed. Shalhevet is the choice of so many in this community. We are at max capacity, and there's a waiting list. Larry and Andrea's leadership. Most of all, Shalhevet has firmly established itself as a religious and educational presence in the Los Angeles community. It's a powerful voice here, and almost more importantly, on the national stage. We're standing proudly under Larry's leadership as a modern Orthodox institution, with everything that means. We're building a school where no question is off limits, where all families are welcome. Wherever you come from, you have a place at Shalhevet, and where our children can really road test their Judaism. And yet, at the same time, we have an understanding that the future of our Jewish community depends on a heavy investment in Torah learning and a deep and unwavering commitment to halakha. That's not simple, you should hear that. That is what Larry has helped us define for the community, that we can have both. It's not less, it can be more, it can be both. And most importantly, and it's most important to them, it's most important to Esther and Steve, Jerry and Jean, people who built this school with their blood, sweat, and tears, that were turning out mensches, who love coming to school every single day, who feel willing and able to make a difference in the world, who feel a part of a special community. The Gemara in Maseches Tanis tells a very brief story about a man who was traveling through a desert. He was thirsty, he was exhausted, he was hungry, and he was thinking he was going to die. And then off in the distance he sees a tree. And as he gets closer, he thinks maybe it's a mirage, but it's not. It's a beautiful tree, and he gets up to the tree and he grabs one of its fruits and he tastes it, and it's delicious. And he sits under the shade, and it's so cool and fantastic. And he sees that there's a spring under the tree, and he drinks from it. And he's great, And he just sits there for a moment and enjoys the moment, like, oh, I hope you're doing tonight. And then he turns to the tree and he says, Ilan, Ilan, ma'avarechacha, tree, my dear tree who just took care of me, what bracha can I give you? Should I give you the bracha that you should have sweet fruit? The Gemara tells us, he says, you already have sweet fruit. Should I tell you you should have shade? You already have shade. It's not helpful. Should I say, oh, you should have a spring under your tree? It's nothing. It doesn't mean anything. He says, the one thing I can give you a bracha is that may it be God's will that all the trees planted from your seeds should be like you. Larry and Andrea, your shade is plentiful and your fruit is sweet. You have built an incredible school. You have 3 incredible children, and I see so much of you in each of them already. My bracha for you is that they should follow in your footsteps, that they should invest themselves fully through their life journey in the way you have done for all of us here at Shachar. Mazal tov.